whatever you sell, attach it to the outcome. And the greater your personal motivation and the greater the prospect's motivation, the more they will have the desire to buy from you. And the easier it will be for you to sell. Give yourself permission to suck at things until you get good enough to not suck anymore at any of those things. What's up, underdogs? Welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneurial Underdog. I'm Alek Angelov, and today I'm your only host. This is the first sales solo episode, and I really felt the need to create this episode together with you because we're going to be talking about such an important topic. I receive almost on a daily basis the question, Alek, how do I combat my sales anxiety? How do I actually become good if I feel nervous all the time? And so many people think, well, if I'm nervous, am I really curated for sales, right? Because I will never be able to be good because the prospect will always smell, right, my fear. And they're just never going to believe that what I have to offer is great. And the first question I always ask, and that I want to ask you right now, is how confident are you in your offer? Okay, so many people they feel anxious precisely because of the offer and not themselves. Okay, and I find that in so many of the people that I coach is they have something that they just think it's great, but they are not fully convinced that this is something that will change other people's life. They're not convinced that what they have to offer it's unique enough for other people to pay the money that they're asking for. And so therefore, they're in a constant anxiety state in which they believe what I'm offering just isn't great enough for the value that I'm offering it. And so why would people buy from me? Because think about it this way. If you actually fully believed that the product that you sell will change people's life, why would you feel nervous selling it? There's no point. You're helping them. They should be nervous to not buy it. And so the first reflection that I want you to think about is how confident are you from 1 to 1,000,000 that your product or service will change people's life? And if your answer is anything less than 1,000,000, that could be the first reason why you suffer from sales anxiety. Now, let me tell you a story. When I first started in sales, aside from the early stages in which I was a kid and I didn't even realize that I was selling, the first clear fact, okay, that I was selling, the first time I understood what sales really is, I was asking people for donations. And every time I asked people for donations, I would really wonder, hey, why should they actually donate? I had that doubt in my head because I was thinking, well, what's the benefit for them? And let me tell you, donations are the hardest to get precisely because of that main reason. But that is only if you are an amateur. Because what I realized further down the line is that, really, the problem wasn't that I just didn't believe in the benefit for them, because there was not a benefit marked as such. But I didn't believe in the mission, because it was for people who couldn't afford university. But in my case, I didn't know anyone who has been through that program, who has been through the process of getting, right, a hardship that will help them to actually go to university. And so I went to my supervisor and I said, hey, Alex, his name was Alex. Hey, Alex, who are the people that have benefited from the donations Okay, who are they? What do they do? And that's when everything changed for me. Because now suddenly I had names, I had case studies. There was this girl who used to have a complete tragedy because both of her parents passed away in a car accident. And suddenly she was left with no money, no resources. And that program helped her to get into university and to be able to support her little sister. And now everything suddenly changed because my focus wasn't on getting a donation. It was helping people such as Megan, who used to be in that situation. And thanks to our program, was able to get out of it and get a degree and get an education that she wanted to pursue. And so if your motivation, if your purpose attached to the product or service is not great enough, that is one of the second reasons why you may suffer from sales anxiety. It is because you need to know, okay, what is your personal selfless goal, okay, and what is your selfish goal too, okay? A selfish goal is, hey, if I close this many deals, I'll be able to go to the Maldives with my family. And we're going to be able to drink all the cocktails we want. Fantastic. Okay, fantastic. But what's your selfless reason? Okay, why do you do it? Okay, well, if I close this deal, I would be able to help X person achieve X transformation. And here is an underrated sales tip for you. Never sell just the features, never sell just the benefits, sell the outcomes, sell the final transformation. Okay? And so instead of saying our product is the best or our product will help you feel happier, okay? Tell people what exactly will make them happier. Hey, by us working together, you would be able to go on this holiday that you told me that you desire and that you haven't been on for the past 5 years. I mean, come on, it's freaking ridiculous. 5 years? You haven't been on a holiday with your kids? How old are they? Take them to freaking Disneyland. Oh, but I don't have the money. Okay, well, don't worry. We're going to make the money. Oh, don't worry. You don't have the energy. Oh, we're going to get the energy. Right? Whatever you sell, attach it to the outcome. And the greater your personal motivation and the greater the prospect's motivation, the more they will have the desire to buy from you. And the easier it will be for you to sell. Okay? So that's point number 2. Point number 3. You haven't faced your fear. You struggle to sell because you don't sell enough, right? I loved this guy called Jamir. Jamir is a member of my community, and he's 19 years old. And he came to me, he was like, Alek, you know, I've been selling for such a long time and I still don't overcome the feeling of me just being awkward and nervous. I was like, for how long have you been selling? He's like, 2 months, man. I've been working so hard. I was like, 2 months? All right. Well, how many calls have you done? Oh, I've done 3 calls, and every time I feel nervous. Come on. Come on. I've done over 1,000, over 10,000 sales calls. And over the first 1,000, I was kind of awkward. Okay? Sometimes still, I encounter a situation that is totally different that I've never encountered before. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of different, right? And it's a curveball. And I just need to deal with it. But so many people just don't practice long enough to become actually semi good, semi okay. And so you can never beat your anxiety if you don't face the anxiety, right? If I want to get better at speaking and at communicating, right? And I would just say like, well, in this episode, right, I'm just not gonna sound good because it's the beginning. Well, yeah, but if I don't do this episode, I'll never get better at it, right? And so I need to speak, I need to communicate, I need to do more episodes, I need to get to know the communication that my audience prefers, and I need to learn about how to be better. The same with your sales calls. You need to do a lot of sales calls to become semi good at sales. Okay. And that leads me to point number 4. Well, if you do those sales calls, let's say that you've already been on 500 sales calls this year. Okay. People are going to go, oh, Alek, that's 365 days. That the year has. That's like more than a call a day. Yeah. You should be on more than a call a day. Okay, this year I will probably complete over 1,000 sales calls. Okay, if that shocks you, then it means that your pipeline and lead generation system is just not good enough. Okay, and so, hey, you have to practice. It's a craft. Okay, and so let's say that this year you do 500 sales calls, which would be fantastic for you, right? It would be fantastic. Okay, now if you just do them and that's it, at call 501, you'll be just 5% better. Why? Because you haven't even stopped to analyze. So you need to stop, watch the call, and take notes. Where did I stop? Okay, what did I do wrong? What happened? Take notes of every single failure, every single time that you stumbled, every single time that you didn't sound convincing enough. Okay, that's your first exercise. I hope you're writing this down right now. You need to write this down because you're never going to beat your sales anxiety. You're never going to get better at sales if you don't do this. So, after every call, here are the steps that I want you to take. You finish the call, you get the recording, record absolutely every single sales call. Sit down, watch the recording. Where did you do well? Where did you do not so well? Take notes. Minute 131. I say this. The correct word choice would be this. Oh, I mentioned this. Oh my God, here I can see I'm sweating. I got nervous. Oh, I got distracted because I got a message on my phone. I'm going to turn my phone off next time. You need to have a proper analysis of every single conversation. Okay. Here's the second thing that you're going to do. You are going to start recording patterns. You're going to analyze, what did the prospect do? Okay, if they say no, why did they say no? What led to that no? And so I want you to start recording every bit of information that happens during the call. And that is extremely important because this way, after 10 calls, now you have a pattern that you can identify. And now you say, there seems to be the occurrence that, hey, people who show up, they actually struggle with this specific case. And so if I really want to sell to them, I just need to put more pressure on this specific pain point. You start crafting that specific target persona. And here's the beautiful thing. Let's say you have, for simple mathematics, 50 people, okay, that you have a call with this month, okay? And you close 35, which would be incredible, right? Fantastic. You sit down and you analyze the 15 that you didn't close, and you realize that every single one of them, okay, you just, whenever you were presenting the proposal, you started with a specific word that is different to the ones that you closed. Now you have a clear identification that you should just not use that word because it seems like people in your industry do not necessarily resonate. Okay. So if you're capable of identifying what made you win every deal and what made you lose every deal, you're just going to get so much better. Those 50 calls would equal someone else's 500 call. All right. Now, point number 5, it has to do with your mindset. If you do not truly go with the mindset that what I'm offering is the best thing in the world, they will benefit from it, I will absolutely smash it, people will just smell the energy that you have. And so, how do you change your mindset? Okay, it's you stop selling. Oh my God, what? I stopped selling? Yeah, you just stop selling. What are you going to do? You're going to start guiding people. How do you guide people? You make them just reconsider their current position and establish what are their future goals and how can they achieve it. And how do you contribute to that path? So now we're no longer talking about you buying my product. We're talking about what exactly do you need and how can I help you achieve what you need. And now it's so much easier for me because you're just two dudes talking. You're just two, pals having a conversation. Hi, friend. What do you need? Oh, you want to get to 100,000 a month, and right now you're at 35,000, and you're struggling with X, Y, and Z. Fantastic. If we were to solve X, Y, and Z to help you get to 100,000, will it make sense for us to work together? Hell yeah, that's exactly what I needed. Brilliant. And so you need to focus more on helping people and guiding them towards a decision rather than just saying this is what you need to be doing. Okay. Point 6 is you probably talk more than you listen. And so when we talk for a prolonged period of time, we're bound to make mistakes. It's just normal. More information coming out of your mouth, more chances for you to just make a mistake. It's normal. Now, if you listen more and you let people talk, two beautiful things happen. One of them, they start liking you more because they feel understood more, because someone is finally listening to what they have to say. The second thing is you learn important information that you can later use to actually close the deal. And so listen more, talk less. And when you talk, don't just talk, ask questions that will help with guiding people towards them making a good decision, a decision that benefits them, which it doesn't matter if they end up working with you or if they end up working with Gary. What matters is, okay, that they take the right decision. And so you're just there to guide them and for them getting the maximum benefit out of the conversation with you. You're not there to convince them. You're not there to persuade them with salesy tactics. All right. You're there to help them. Okay. So listen more, talk less, ask questions with intent. Point number 7. The word I just mentioned 30 seconds ago is not even in the dictionary. Salesy does not exist. Go try to find it. All right, go search in the encyclopedia. Oh my God, where is salesy? It doesn't exist. And you know why it doesn't exist? Because it's a made up word. Okay, it's made up word to describe those car salesmen who just jump straight in and it's like, oh man, I have the best car. You just gotta buy it right now. Or I don't even know what that accent was. Okay, I'm super bad with accents. But that's what I see in every single movie in which there is a salesman. They suddenly talk really fast, they're really close to your face, their breath smells really bad, and they're trying to convince you to buy stuff that you don't even need. That's wrong. That's not sales. Okay? That is abuse. Mental, physical. Oh my God. It's so awkward. Okay? That's harassment. That's not sales. And so we're not going to harass people. Okay, sales is not a manipulation, sales is an art. And so you need to treat it as such. It's a delicate process. You need to stop believing that you can be salesy. You need to stop believing, okay, that pushing someone to buy will help you to get them to buy. It doesn't work, all right? It doesn't work. We're past that, all right? What you need to be convinced is that your product will be the best one, okay, for them. And you're going to offer them the best solution that you can offer them based on the information that they have provided because of the questions that you've been asking. And so forget about salesy. It is not a word, okay? So many people, you just are afraid of being salesy. If you follow what I've just said, you're never going to be salesy. You're always going to have the confidence to properly sell, to sell like an artist, to sell like you mean it, with intent. So that is very important for you to understand, is that sales is about helping the other people, and being salesy does not exist if you follow the steps that we've been mapping out. Finally, I want to give you an overview. The majority of the people that I mentor, when it comes to helping them beat sales anxiety, we follow a very clear framework. And it's, first of all, how confident are you in the product? Second of all is, how confident are you in yourself? Third is, what are you doing to get better? I think the majority of people that suck at something is because they haven't been practicing it for long enough to stop sucking. All right? And so if you want to get great, you first need to get good. And people forget that. People just think that randomly, I start doing an activity and suddenly, boom, I am now absolutely fantastic at it. No, it doesn't work like that. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes courage to get better. And so the first thing we do is a lot of role playing. It's a lot of realizing that you can close the deal. If you lack confidence, it is probably because you haven't achieved results, right? And I know some of you will be like, well, what do I do if I don't have results? Go work for free. Go find someone that can mentor you and you provide some value to them. And if you're capable of learning from someone who is great, find someone who is actually great, who is where you want to be, you're going to get better at the craft that they're great at. And so before you get great, you get good. And before you get good, you get better. But that's the whole point, is if you don't face the anxiety, you're always going to be stuck at just being there. And just being there is just not good enough. Just being there is being stuck, not doing, okay, not facing the fear, the anxiety, the stress is keeping you literally in that vicious circle of you never getting better and never fulfilling your objectives, your business objectives, your life objectives, all of it. It's keeping you stuck in your life. And sales is much like dating. At the beginning, I used to suck at both. Okay. And then when I learned sales, I realized that I am actually now kind of good at dating too, right? Those 10s, oh, I have no problem speaking at them, all right? Oh, I just go and I start a conversation. And I don't even need to sell myself because they sell themselves. And how it all happened was because one day I really, really liked that girl. I said, man, I'm super nervous, but she is really good looking. I'm just going to go talk to her. And I didn't. And then I kept being frustrated because I kept seeing her. And I kept never making the move. And I wondered, well, how am I going to teach someone how to do it if I never do it, right? I just went and I started talking. And what I realized is if you just have the confidence to start, oftentimes you're going to realize that that's all that's needed. It's starting, right? And so you're never going to improve if you haven't gone through the steps that we mapped out. And most importantly, if you don't practice long enough, I can't stress the importance of that. And just like in dating, you get better deals, okay, in sales by selling better. And you sell better by learning the processes that work, the patterns, identifying the correct target audience and helping them. And the same goes for your personal confidence and your relationships. They get better by you identifying what works for you. What's your style of communication? What's your style of dress code? Okay. How do you carry yourself as a charismatic person? Charisma is built, sales is built, all right, all of those skills, they are built. We're not just born into it. If you think that, hey, all of the big, most successful people were just fantastic at it, oh, I can tell you they're not, right? At some point, they were all just really bad. But then they decided to start and never stop. I think so many people just quit too soon in everything that they start. So they don't allow themselves to get to the point in which they're better, yet alone the point in which they're great or excellent. Give yourself permission to suck at things until you get good enough to not suck anymore at any of those things. So this is the lesson of the day. It's hard for people to believe in you if you don't even believe in yourself. And it's hard for you to believe in yourself if you don't start practicing and facing the fears that are troubling you every day. I didn't want to feel in any of those situations anymore. And this is why I had that conversation. I sold to that person. I jumped off that cliff. I swam in the ocean. Okay, because all the fears that I had to overcome them. And the only way to overcome them was to actually do the activity and not just do it once, do it for as long as it takes for me to get better and for as long as it takes for me to actually get good enough. And then if you want to master a skill, it takes slightly longer. But the process, it's always the same. You start, you do the activity, you analyze how can you do better. And then you keep on going. You keep on practicing until you're really, really good at it. That's all that matters. All right? That's all that matters. And remember that sales, it's an art. And so you should always treat it as such. Do not treat it as just your job. You don't just have to sell. You have to go through the motion and allow yourself to get better at it. This is how you beat, this is how you combat your sales anxiety. And this is how you get better at sales. So my name is Alek Angelov, and it's always a pleasure seeing you here, Underdog. Remember that I believe in you, even when no one else does. And hey, if you are following me on Instagram or any of the other social media, send me a message. Say, hey, I listened to this episode and this is my takeaway. And I will personally send you some resources that can help you to sell even better. It's a pleasure being here with you. And once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to those episodes. And if you know a friend who can get just a little bit better at sales, send them this episode. Say, hey, this is for you. Make this a personal gift for them. Once again, I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.